Hello friends, welcome to Technical Sharma YouTube channel, and this is the continuation of the last class. In the last class we have learned about outer class, like examples of outer class, inner class, then about examples of with sharing, without sharing, and we have learned about the class variables. Okay, so what are optional and required properties of the class variables, and then we have learned about the class methods, like about the optional and required properties of class methods. Okay, and now in this class we'll learn about the object and constructors. So let's start. So object, what is an object? So object is an instance of class. This has both state and behavior. Object is an instance of a class. Object has both state and behavior. Memory for the data members are allocated when you create an object. Okay, whenever we create an object, memory for the data members are allocated. Okay, so this is the definition of the class. Object is an instance of the class. Object has both state and behavior. Memory for the data members are allocated when you create an object. Okay, and next is syntax. So what's the syntax of an object? Class name, object name is equal to new class name. Object name is equal to new class name. In this this is the name of the class for which we are creating an object. This is the name of the class for which we are creating an object. Object name, it's a reference variable. This is nothing but a reference variable. New, it is a keyword which we are allocating the memory. It is a keyword which we are allocating the memory. And class name is nothing but the constructor. Class name, and then we are opening and closing the bracket is the constructor. Okay, so this is the name of the class for which we are allocating which we are creating an object. This is a reference variable. This is a keyword which we are allocating the memory, and this is a constructor. Okay, now example. Class example. Class example. Code will go inside this code goes here, and example E is equal to new example. Example E is equal to new example. Okay, class example, code will go inside this class. Example E is equal to new example. Okay, so constructor. So what is a constructor? Constructor is a special method which have the properties. Constructor is a special method Constructor is nothing but a method which have the following properties. 1. Method name will be same as class name. Method name will be same as class name. Name same as class name. Method name same as class name. The name of the method, the constructor, will be same as class name. Second point, access specifiers will be public. Access specifiers will be public. Access specifiers will be public. Third point, the method will be invoked only once, that is at the time of creating an object. The method will be invoked only once at the time of creating an object. Okay, invoked only once while creating an object. The method will be invoked only once, that is at the time of creating an object. Fourth point, this is used to instantiate the data members of the class. Used to instantiate the data of the class. Used to instantiate the data members of the class. Okay, example, public class test object. Public class test object. Public class test object. This is the class. And next is public test object. Public test object. So this one is the constructor. This one is the constructor. But this is the no argument constructor. No argument constructor, because nothing is present inside the parentheses and brackets. Okay, so code of the constructor will go here. Code of the constructor will go inside this. So now there are three types of constructors. One is default constructor, non-parameterized constructor, and parameterized constructors. Default constructor. Then second is non-parameterized constructor. Third one is parameterized. Constructor. So three types of constructor: default constructor, non-parameterized constructor, parameterized constructor. Okay, so now let's see one by one. Default constructor. So if an Apex class does not contain any constructor, Then Apex compiler by default creates a dummy constructor on the name of the class when we create an object for the class. I repeat, if an Apex class does not contain any constructor, then Apex compiler by default creates a dummy constructor, the name of the class, when we create an object of the class. Now note when it will get created, when we create an object of the class. Okay. Example, public class example, so example is equal to new example, is equal to new example. So in this example, the Apex class does not contain any constructor. So when we create object for example class, the Apex compiler creates a default constructor. Okay. So I repeat, in this example what we have just written, the Apex class does not contain any constructor. You can see it's blank inside. So when we create object for the class, this is the way we create an object. Then Apex compiler creates a default constructor. And what will the default constructor look like? This one. Copy and paste here. I'll just change the name of the class. Okay, this is the default constructor. So now let's go to non-parameterized constructor. Non-parameterized constructor. So it is a constructor that does not have any parameters. It is a constructor that does not have any parameters. Okay. So for example, public class example, So let's discuss this way, non-parameterized and parameterized. Let me discuss this also here. Non-parameterized and parameterized. Okay, so public class example, integer roll number semicolon, integer roll number, this is the data member of the class, string name semicolon, okay. So we have defined the data members of the class. Now public example, in this we will define integer x semicolon, string my name, integer x semicolon, sorry, inside we don't give semicolon, we have to give comma. Okay, in public example integer x comma string my name, and inside this RNO. RNO is this one. We have declared at the top RNO equal to X semicolon. RNO equal to X semicolon, and name equal to my name. Name equal to my name semicolon. Okay, so what we are doing, this is a parameterized constructor, because inside the parameter we are declaring integer and string values. Variables, integer x and string my name. X is a variable, my name is a variable, and here RNO is a variable, name is a variable. So now what we are doing, we are assigning RNO with X, name with my name. Why we are assigning RNO with X? Only because they are of the same type, integer. Why we are assigning name with my name? Because they are of the same type, string and string. So RNO equal to X, name equal to my name. Okay, so this is parameterized constructor. Now let's see non-parameterized constructor. Public example. So in this RNO equal to 10. RNO equal to 10. Name equal to, this is string, so inverted commas, Ram. Okay, so this is non-parameterized constructor. So here we are not using anything, we are not using any integer or string in the parameter. We are just took the variable what we have declared globally, RNO equal to 10, name equal to Ram. So we are directly assigning a value here, but in this case we are assigning the value dynamically, because this is the parameter. So in the parameter we have integer and string declared variables. That variables we are assigning here. Okay, so this is dynamic, and this is like we are assigning the values manually to a variable. So this was parameterized and non-parameterized constructor. Okay, so I'll end this here. The next class we'll see an example to demonstrate the usage of constructor. Okay, so thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe to my channel.